keto bandito.
The Keto Bandito.
The keto bandito.
That's your new nickname.
Oh.
Get you some of that.
It's gonna be like Hank the Wise Man. I'm just the keto bandito.
Don't get you some of that.
Yeah. Do not eat that.
You promised.
Oh, help me.
Casey's like, please. So, Kenneth.
Can they hear us? Can they hear us?
Oh, yeah. Hey, y'all make sure let Casey Massey know you can hear us. He's got that look on his face like something's
He's bewildered.
something's going on.
The Christmas edition of the SwarmCast.
Good evening. I thought it was going to play again. And welcome to the SwarmCast, the final edition of the 2024 SwarmCast here for the crew here as Thomas County Central falls last week to Langston Hughes 28-12. And we will absolutely talk about that game. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got Coach Rogers who will be coming on in a little while. We're also going to take a look at the senior class and talk about all those seniors that will be graduating and moving on. Hopefully we can get an update on the flag football team. They were involved in the playoffs today. Have not heard anything yet about the result on that, but we got a really cool story that we're going to share with you that WCTV and Allison Posey did about Paige Parkerson. She was the athlete of the week for Channel 6. And a really cool story about Paige. That's Chad and Laura Parkinson's daughter. If you don't know who she is, she was the homecoming queen, too. She was a primary motivator in Thomas County Central ever starting the flag football program. And that story is pretty cool. But first off, let me welcome the crew here. Bryce Young over there on that on your right end. Ryan Davis, the Keto Bandito here, right here beside us.
No blizzard.
No blizzard for you. Jamie Maders over here to your left, and then the tech master himself, Casey Massey back there. And Casey,
He's behind you.
Yeah, he's behind you.
Wait.
At home, as you stare at your screen, he's behind you. And yes, we broke the budget here with the fancy decorations. We have some blue Christmas lights here behind us. So that's, again, we pull out all the stops for you folks.
I think your hat's what broke the budget.
Well, it
It
just
broke
saying.
something.
It looked like it broke. Anyway,
It's velvet.
that's it. It's velveteen.
Dream.
Let's thank Dairy Queen,
Nice.
guys.
Absolutely.
And this was the cookies and cream or the Oreo Blizzard. It was good, Brian. Just
It was
letting
very,
you know.
very good.
I don't not believe you. I
Hey,
mean,
wait,
I believe it was very
Brian,
good.
where's yours at?
Yeah, thank you. Wedding season is upon me,
Oh,
particularly, and so
here we
therefore
go.
Oh.
we are trying to lose weight before the wedding.
Because
so
you know,
that I can find
if
it.
anybody I know of that needs to lose weight is Brian Davis. I mean, just
Well,
saying.
the conversation was had before the show started. I was like 190, 195 when I weighed the other day. That's as much as Randy weighs. And if y'all know, I'm not that big of a guy.
He has to run around during the shower to get wet. I'm just saying, he's not exactly.
Brian, my
The
leg
biggest-
weighs 190. One of my legs.
Oh,
So
That's the way I feel too.
Guys, let's go ahead and jump
Got
into it because again,
but
thanks
thanks
to
to
Dairy
Greg
Queen.
and
Yes.
Dairy Queen. They
All year.
awesome all year.
And I got to tell you, I know this is basic, but this is
It's
one of
good.
my favorite ones.
Oh,
This
it is,
good.
and that's what I told Greg today. I said, we need to get back to the basics today. We've
That thing's good.
done a lot of those hot shot blizzards that he's got up there.
Yep.
Hey, and
We've
two-
about tried them all.
shot.
Yeah, and two, one of my personal favorites since it is Christmas time, they have a mint
Oh,
Oreo Blizzard. And the
We
mint,
had
if
it.
you're a mint fan, that one's off the chain.
Yep.
yeah, we had it, a week ago.
Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, it
The
was
hot
awesome.
chocolate
Oh.
mint.
Well, now this
peppermint.
one's just like a mint paste
Oh,
in there, like with that. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
Okay. It's like the green.
yeah.
You,
Mhm.
you can get it on your
Wow.
toothbrush and take
Well,
care of your
say
teeth
the
with that thing. I
toothpaste.
was going to say.
Brush your breath.
Got some fluoride in there.
Yeah, good for you.
That's it.
That's all.
And
so,
let's send some good positive thoughts out to the Massey family. They got Kyle home
Absolutely.
today
Yep.
after a long and arduous process of going through open heart surgery and all the stuff that was associated with it. How many weeks ago did that surgery
It was-
happen?
83 days.
Wow. So basically 3 months.
That's how long he's been in the hospital.
Okay.
Was it the Lee County weekend or the week?
We were
before
at
that?
home. Yeah, I guess it would be Lee.
I think it was.
I think it was
Man,
because
we-
it was a toss-up if I was going to be there or not.
It was the week of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yep. All sorts of. But anyway, Kyle's home, and
They going to the Buzzery tonight.
that is good. Good news and Merry Christmas for the Massey family, guys. Let's jump on into the game because I know everybody wants to talk about it. Lakeisha Esther is asking if we froze. Yes, we did.
Yeah, my toes are still thawing out.
It wasn't bad.
I was good until about mid-fourth quarter, and then I got cold.
Now, I'm
So,
gonna
and
tell you.
DePlantis said that, too.
About the middle of the fourth quarter,
It
right
got,
at the end of the third
got
quarter,
cold.
the wind picked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
That's
when
when
the
it got
wind
cold.
picked up, it started cutting through them clothes I had on.
Yeah.
But you know what? was moving a lot. Y'all were sitting.
Yeah, we were
trying to
standing.
do the
But
game and done a great job, by the way. Y'all done an awesome job. But
it was cold.
It got breezy down there in that third quarter, but it settled out toward the end. So
Well, I knew when we had Charlie Ward Jr. standing beside us the whole time, and it wasn't because he likes us. Whenever he walked up there, I said, Junior, what you doing? He said, that's a heater, ain't it? I said, yes, sir, it is. And that joker, I tell you, and I shared with these guys, I'm calling the game, and he's over beside me talking to me while I'm trying to call
Breaking
the
it
game.
down.
But
Yeah.
everything that was about to happen, he knew it was about to happen. Everything. And I'm like, Junior, why aren't you down there when you're behind coaching? But anyway,
the vision that he
I don't
had.
know. You can't coach that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But back to the game. First off, congratulations to Langston Hughes. They deserved to win the football game. They were the best team on that field the other night. And unfortunately for us, the game, at least to me, felt just like the Lee County game. It felt like
it was identical.
It felt like offensively we just could not find any sort of rhythm.
No.
It's just almost like you just couldn't do anything. I'm gonna use the term almost couldn't do anything right. But I mean, we still scored, some points, which is that's not factual. But it's just like you couldn't get enough going to make. I'm gonna say get in the game, which we were in the game, but
The third
you
quarter,
know what I'm trying to say, I guess.
the third quarter was the closest we came to
Yeah, right after
finally
half, yeah.
getting over the hump. It felt like,
Kind of taking some momentum.
but they had gave us 2 or 3 gifts,
And that's why.
And our now don't get me wrong. Now our defense played their
They
tail
did.
off
Mhm.
the whole
Yeah,
game.
they did.
Yep, they did.
And I ain't saying our offense didn't play
Yep,
hard.
I'm with you.
We played hard. We fought.
Yep.
But I tell you the thing that
Obadiah says he had to dance to stay warm. I tried to get them to dance, but they wouldn't do it. Just saying.
the thing that worried me after the game got flowing was they punted a couple times to D. And for the first time in D's 4 years, I did not feel like D could have got out of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When they kicked the ball off, D made a couple moves.
It was
and
kickoffs.
it
They
was
only
just
punted
like-
one time.
Well,
Yep.
whenever he got the ball, D could usually cut across the field and then
Yeah.
cut that thing
Yeah.
back and nobody can catch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he cut it back, there was about 4 people.
I
gone.
remember one. I
It's
think it
just-
was right at the start of the fourth quarter where it looked like he could have been. I mean, well, our vantage point wasn't too great, but it looked like there was a big hole there.
Yep.
Let me tell you, as soon as you thought it was
Gone.
filled. It
Yeah.
was on the dirt.
And,
down
and
there.
I'm not saying that in
No.
a negative way to
No.
D because I kept waiting for that spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
yeah.
he's the spark guy. He's
Yep.
the creator of a spark.
But when they're just matching athleticism,
Yeah.
athleticism, that's just what happened.
Well,
it was like they had 4 or 5 Ds.
yes.
there was speed
So-
everywhere. There wasn't a spot on the field
Yeah.
where they didn't have a speed advantage. There's just no way
Even
around it.
their big guys in the trenches
Yep.
were fast,
Fast
and,
and
that just-
athletic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We had a hard time blocking them.
Yep.
And it felt like, here's the other thing, too. Deuce the other night, Deuce had a good night. I mean, he had right at 100 yards rushing the ball. But unlike the games that we have played up to this point, there were 4 or 5 times where the plays that we ran in previous games would have been touchdowns,
Mhm.
where he would have broke it, and all of a sudden Deuce is gone. Those guys knew they had enough speed to contain whatever we were doing on the ground, and as long as we were doing it on the ground, I think we were playing into what they wanted us to do.
Yeah, and that's what was scary too. And I realized, pretty quick on, I'm gonna say almost halfway through the first quarter, second quarter deal, whenever Deuce would get the edge, and I've never seen anybody run him down. Let me go ahead and say that
Yep.
first off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there were
And
2 or
they-
3 guys doing it.
And they hawked him down
Yep.
from behind
Yep.
and beat him to the corner with the angle.
Yep.
It was just, it was something to behold. I was like, we're
And
going
the
to be
thing
in
about it
for
is I didn't think we could get the corner, but we actually did 2 or 3
Mhm.
times.
We did.
Several times.
And I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
But it seemed like 5 yards down the field, they
Somebody
were
was there. Yep. And again, you have to just tip your cap to Langston Hughes. I mean, they're that athletic, probably the fastest football team on a high school field that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I
me
mean, just
too.
just
Yeah,
speed
the
everywhere.
only one that I could witness that I seen was our 94 defense. It was spectacular
Yep.
fast. Too.
Yep. Well, and Obadiah was saying that the fans were screaming, "Throw the ball." Well, then we tried to throw the ball, but I think again, Jalen was never comfortable the whole night. You could tell it. There were easy passes that he had hit consistently through the whole year. The other night that he just misfired on because he had people chasing him
Yeah.
every time he would drop back. I mean, he's running for his life, even on those rollout passes, because he had speed coming from behind and he couldn't outrun it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it was a danged if you do and darned if you didn't type thing.
And every time he did, like the rollout bootlegs and stuff like that, every time he did, he still got hit after. Even
Yep.
though he
Oh,
got rid
he
of the
got
ball,
hit.
he still got hit.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
got hit.
He got hit a lot.
Well,
right.
and part of it too, when he was sitting in the pocket, when he had time to sit in the pocket, what was happening? It was kind of like watching a NASCAR wreck happen. You're trying to navigate through the wreck. He's got bodies flying in front of him, guys
Yep.
making blocks and stuff, coming up and pick stuff up.
Yep.
And there's so much going on in front of him. It's not a typical pocket where you're able just to be comfortable
Yeah,
to
it's a
pass
dirty
out
pocket.
of. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, there's another part of the story that nobody has talked enough about. You're talking about a team with 37 seniors on it. They had one junior, the running back, and I can't remember his name right off.
That was the backup run.
21.
That was a 4-star recruit.
Yeah,
right?
Quantavious Wiggins,
That's him.
the junior running back. He is the only non-senior that ever stepped on the field that whole night.
Yep.
And I don't know what you do. I mean, this has been a point of discussion this whole week amongst our fan base. It is almost impossible to monitor and keep up with who's going where. I mean, we were told by a good friend of mine that we had supper with up there that if you stand in the parking lot of Langston Hughes High School, within a 5-mile radius, there are 4 other high schools. And every one of them with 1,500 or more kids, they're all in the same school district.
We passed by 2 just going to supper.
I mean, I think Casey Massey's ringtone's going off, and we'll get Coach Rogers on here and see what Coach Rogers has got to say. Good evening, Coach Rogers. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Not a thing. Just sitting here chatting about the game and talking about what happened. Let's get your thoughts on it when you have some time now or you've had some time to look back on it. What are your thoughts on what happened up there against Langston Hughes?
It was just quite a few little small details, small things.
Mhm.
Offensively, I thought we ran the ball very effective. And you had good runs. If you go look at it, watch it, you were efficiently getting 4 and 5 yards on a lot of the runs and being able to get a few explosives in there as well. And you were staying on schedule. What hurt us some is just kind of a whack-a-mole issue in our passing game. And so you had a really good edge rusher off the side that got us a couple times on some passes where we would go for a shot on 2nd and short and we would get a sack, and now you're back in 3rd and long, or we would just barely miss on the throw and it would be just a touch behind or something, or right on the sideline.
Right.
All right. Or we had a drop, and had a drop there. So our pass game is what really, and it was such small little things in our pass game, nothing major, that kind of hurt us in that area. But we ran the ball very effective. You'd love to, have a couple of those back, stay on schedule and see how it goes. Defensively, I thought we played really well. You just wish you could take 6 plays back.
Right.
And there was like 6 plays that kind of got us, where a missed tackle and you got explosive, but hats off to their quarterback. He was very elusive. And like I say, we took a little bit of a poor angle on a screen play that they got turned loose on. And then we again, just half a step on the run that popped right up the middle. But overall played really well. So the takeaway from it after watching it was just, again, the devil's in the details.
Right.
It was just some really minor things that or not really minor, but just small elements that were just barely off. It's like the old, what was that, Al Pacino speech, right? The inches we need are everywhere.
Yep.
And it was a lot of those little things I can say hats off to them. They had some playmakers that made good plays.
Well, and too, Coach, one of the things that we've talked about, and I agree with you, it felt like Jalen never really got comfortable as the game was going along. It didn't feel like to us that he kind of found that little groove that we're used to seeing him find. But even with Deuce had some nice runs, but unlike games leading up to this one, those guys were able to run it down and contain it. What would normally be a 50, 60-yard touchdown run for him would end up being a 10, 15-yard run. Nothing wrong with that. But they were making us get singles and doubles instead of hitting the home runs.
And that's what speed does. And as you get to that level, that's what speed's going to do.
Yeah.
And so you're right. I mean, and that's why, you wish, you could have been, maybe we'd have been a little more patient and been out there and take that game. But I mean, the shots and taking control, play action passes have been so good to us.
Right.
And we just never found our rhythm there.
Yeah.
Is where it was at. But, you commend your guys. I mean, they battled and got back in that thing 14-12. Then got it back to a ball game and had a really good kickoff coverage team, got them down to the 10. And that little moment right there, because we had them on the ropes right there. They were in a standing 8 count.
Yeah.
At that moment, because you had a lot of momentum, and they say hats off, their Q made a play and kind of took that momentum back over at that moment.
Yeah, and too, Coach, you made the comment the other night after the game. You had a couple of shots down there deep and had to walk away with field goals instead of touchdowns, and I think that made a difference too.
Without question. I mean, 100% without question. It's hard to – it's just hard to win those games with people that have firepower with giving up 4 points every time when you're settling for field goals.
Right, right. But, Coach, I mean, nothing to hang your head about this year as far as the season is concerned. Another great year, 11-2, third straight quarterfinals, a 38-3 record for you. I mean, and I know that it's frustrating because you can see the ultimate goal there just kind of over the hill from this past week. But again, just a really solid year overall.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, losing sucks. I mean, let's just say that first and foremost.
I'd let you say it.
So
You're right.
we all, agree with that. However, there ain't going to be but 6 teams that's going to win that last game. So if that's the only way you define success, then there's going to be a lot of people always disappointed.
Right.
So now this year was an incredibly successful year. I am stupid proud of these young men, the growth that they had, how much better they improved throughout the year, the way that they played, the consistency at which they played. They were a consistent bunch. They continued to get better week in, week out, and develop. And they had great camaraderie and love for one another, much like the last 2 teams also had, and were committed to one another. And man, I couldn't be more proud of a group of guys. Like I say, nobody likes the losing part, but boy, for a collective season and a collective year, these boys have been working since January.
Right.
What they accomplished and the way that they accomplished it, hats off to them, because those boys earned it and did it the right way.
Yeah, and Coach, what a senior class. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, you're talking about, and I know that the 2022 class, senior class, very special because they were the first one to kind of buy into what you were bringing to the table and help stabilize things. But these guys here have been kind of the heart of it for the last 2 years, and man alive, what a great job they've done.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this was I don't want to say, because you had some last year as well, don't get me wrong, but this was the first group that you really saw go from the Thursday afternoon JV field to the Friday night varsity field. And you saw their growth, from the 2 years of being here. There was a lot of these guys that, were not starters and role players and played limited factors, to this year they were starters and big contributors and continue to work through. So no, this was a special group. In the fact, this is my first group since I've been here that you could really see the development of them, really see it, because been with them so long.
Yeah, no question. And you talk, of course, you don't want to single individuals out, but man, there's some holes there that are going to be tough to fill. I mean, you talk about D. Reddick, a Super 11 guy who, again, I've called him the electric company because he can turn all the lights on or turn them off, depending on which way you're looking at it. And Jaden Rubo, an all-state guy. Those are some big shoes to fill.
Well, you named all two of the biggest for sure.
Yep,
Not
yep.
that I'm diminishing anybody else, but those are big ones. And Kendarius is one where, I mean, obviously his play on the field and especially his special teams play will be tough to replace, but more so his energy. I mean, you nailed it on
Yeah.
the electric company the way you called him because everybody fed off of him. And I mean,
That's it.
everybody. I mean, offense, defense, special teams. Shoot, I believe the horns got louder when that Joker played.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he was just one of those energizing figures. And then Jaden Rubo was a incredible player. I mean, just a tackling machine, had a nose for the ball, but also much like D with his intangible of the excitement, his was his poise and calmness.
Yep.
Because when things would get antsy out there and things get dicey, the entire defense last 2 years would look to Rubo for that calmness, that poise, that we're good guys, and making the checks and calls. And he just kept everybody just right there, like everything's all right, boys, we got this. And just while D would get them up, Jaden would keep them right there level headed.
Right.
And so they were a nice 1-2 punch in leadership.
Kind of yin and yang there.
Correct.
Yep. But the good news is, Coach, the future is very bright. I mean, 17 of 22 guys, as far as your starters are concerned, will be returning, and a lot of talent. The future is very, very bright.
Yeah, well, we're gonna go into this off season in a completely different aspect. Last year we went into the off season starting in January, looking for a bunch of starters. I mean, we didn't return starters, so it was all new. This year we'll start in January with a lot of experience coming back. So that's going to be something that's going to be awesome, and we'll be able to expand and probably do a little bit more with this group, both offensively and defensively with our schemes, because of the knowledge they'll have being able to return. And you're right, cupboard's not bare. I mean, but cupboard ain't never been bare.
That's right.
If you're a real program like you say you want to be, and we are, then tradition don't ever graduate.
Right.
And so while players are graduating, names and numbers are changed, that tradition stays the same. And so that next wave of guys are ready and prepared. Now, luckily, we've got a lot coming back, but we got a lot of names y'all boys don't even know about yet.
Yeah.
But y'all gonna figure it out because we got some good talent coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, Jamie says he knows a few of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so them boys coming to practice. Them boys over there on Charlie Ward Boulevard that come out there and watch it. They know what I'm talking about.
Coach, I really like what I see at the lower levels, at even down to the 9th grade. Some very, very good, talented classes. Some good numbers, and just a lot to choose from, and just to continue to build that depth. Because I can remember like it was yesterday when I asked you, I said, Coach, what about that depth? And you said, what depth? And I was like, I know, Coach.
No doubt.
And you said, that's what we're trying to do here. We've got to do that. That's our biggest thing.
And we're closing that gap tremendously, because you're right. My first 2 years, I felt like we were paper thin.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just over there, just hoping and praying, people don't get hurt, because it was just, it was a big drop off behind it.
Yeah.
Well, now across the board, you have really closed that drop off. And so there's a lot of guys that can adequately step in and play. Now, you still got certain areas, and you always will, that there's certain areas that still are thin. But for our overall program, our depth is getting in a really good position now to where you've got those guys. And you talked about the feeder stuff. I want to commend our administration and our school system.
Yeah.
And we started a 6th grade program this year for the first time. And so now we've got a 6th grade team, a 7th grade team, and an 8th grade team. And we're just getting kids more involved in football, getting them a positive experience in that 6th grade year, to where they get to kind of get involved in football, ease into it, almost kind of put their toe in the water a little bit, just to experience it. And I just thought that was very important for us to do, to give them that introductory. So we're excited about having those 6, 7, 8 programs, because now every year you got 22 starters, and even more than that on the team, that are loving football. And so you're growing your numbers.
Yep.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, now that we're in the off season, with the guys that are graduating this year, that, of course, D. Reddick, National Signing Day yesterday, congratulations to him going to USC. What about the guys that kind of, have flown under the radar, that still are looking at an opportunity to probably play in the next level in college? Well, what are we doing at this point to try to help them? Are they still going to visit colleges? Are we talking to colleges? How does all that work?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, because everybody sees the hype of the Power Four and the major Division I colleges and everything there, but your Division twos, your Division threes, your NAIA, all of those guys are really ramping up recruiting now. I mean, they don't have the budget to be 3 years out. They don't even know how it's going to shake out or who's left. And so you're seeing those guys really take off. If you follow our social media, you probably saw a lot of those guys.
Mhm.
We had quite a few get a bunch of offers yesterday from that D2, D3, NAIA level. And so, no, we're doing a bunch of stuff right now, marketing our kids, sending out. I know we got coaches that are going up next Tuesday to the Gwinnett Recruiting Fair. That's a big recruiting fair up in Atlanta, where it's kind of a one-stop shop where all the D2 and NAIA and D3 schools can fly in to Atlanta, come in, go to this area, work all the schools there, and fly back out and get a lot of guys opportunities that way. So, no, we're working in to market those guys now. And then as those offers come in, because they'll get quite a few offers, then we got to look at the financial packages and see what's the best for each one of those young men.
Right.
Because the whole deal we're trying to do is go to school
Right.
and use that to go to school for little to no debt.
Mhm.
And if we can use football to go for little to no debt, then it's worth taking that opportunity to go somewhere for a visit and all that. But we don't want to go all over the world until we know what you offer. We got to get down to
Absolutely.
brass tacks.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. Coach, one quick thing, and then I got a thing to wrap up with that I wanted to point out, and you may be aware of this. 2 years ago, Sam Brown broke Charlie Ward's passing record, and you told him at the football banquet he better enjoy it because it wasn't going to last long. Well, Jalen beat him out by 28 yards this year.
Did he? I thought it was close. I ain't
Yep.
even looked at it. Did
Sam
we
had
get it?
26.96, and Jalen ended up with 27.24. So by 28 yards, he is now the new all-time single-season passing record holder. And I can say with pretty straight confidence here, based on what he did last year and this year, he's the career leading passer right now for our high school.
Well, I knew he was going to be the career leader when he left.
Yeah.
Give him another year, he gonna sit that
Oh
one pretty
my
high.
gosh,
Right.
you ain't kidding.
But yeah, I knew when Sam said it. I was like, Sam, that ain't gonna last long. I think I've had 4 or 5 beat that number before in the past, and so, but Jalen's done a great job. He's a great quarterback, and like I say, I'm excited. I think his receiving core is just gonna get better and
Yep.
better.
Yep.
That he's got, and I think they got better throughout the year. I mean, I think you saw that.
Yep.
And so, having him coming back next year as a 3-year starter, really understanding this offense, and we're going to add some things to it too to help him. But then also having, those guys coming back like Rodney Dunbar, Jabari Watkins, and Gary Pringle. I mean, that's going to really help him. He's still got Trayvon that comes over and plays as well.
Yeah.
So he's going to have some fun toys that'll be a year older and more mature and better route runners to throw to.
And
Well-
them toys going to be around for a while, Coach.
Oh yeah. But Jalen ain't gonna be
Yeah.
around but
Jay-
one more though.
Yeah, but JB and well, I'm not
Yeah,
worried
that's right.
about these passing records because as long as you and Coach Thornton are hanging around here, it's always a chance, Coach.
You're right.
It's always a
and
chance.
let me make sure, because I want everybody to understand that too. Now we are incredibly blessed with Joe Thornton. Joe
Yes.
Thornton is one of the best quarterback developers I've ever seen.
I call him the
He's a
quarterback
just-
whisperer. That's what I tell
he is.
everybody.
He is the real deal now. I'm just telling y'all, we are incredibly blessed to have Joe here with us. He's an unbelievable human being, but he has a gift and a knack, and he is so talented at developing quarterbacks.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking forward to next year, Coach, I mean, we've got so many young running backs coming up. And, of course, Deuce will be back.
Ooh,
But Kobe
yeah.
Carnage, I mean, and I'm going to tell you, Patey is one of those guys that I want to see out there because that joker, you talk about electric. Every time he touches the ball, you kind of hold your breath. He's got a lot of wiggle to him.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you got 5.
I know.
I mean,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
deep. You've got Deuce. Everybody knows. You got Kobe Carnage. You got Evan Martin.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Evan Martin is a solid running back. He's very much like an Ahmad Ponder. Has great vision, good pad level. You got Jamarin Patey that everybody knows about. Very twitchy, quick feet. Really can run and stop on a dime, and that's important. Not only can you run, but you can de-accelerate. And then there's another kid, Jordan McNeil.
Yes.
Jordan McNeil, a freshman running back, is extremely talented. I mean, he wound up having an injury that kind of kept him out late in the year as we was finishing out. And you'd have seen him in a lot of those mop-up duties at the end because Jordan, I'm telling you, mark my words, Jordan McNeil's a real deal.
Yep. That's exciting. That's a lot of That's
all 5 of those
well,
backs
that's a
are
lot
good
of-
enough to play varsity football next year.
There
I
you
feel
go.
well, coach,
comfortable
Wow.
my
handing those
thing,
5 the ball.
yeah, my thing is, you can't. Well, I guess you can. You can play 5 running backs in a rotation, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would think that there's probably some spots that they'll probably get some playing time. But those guys are just too good to be watching.
Amen. You're reading minds. I mean, part of our staff right now we're doing evaluations on offensively. We're doing evaluations on plays that were efficient and passes that were incomplete. Like, so if a play didn't go for 4 yards, if it was 4 or less yards, why did that happen? And if it was incomplete, why did that happen? So we're doing studies on that. Defensively is looking at explosive plays and missed tackles. Why did they happen? And then we'll come back in January, though, that first week of January, and we'll dig deep into personnel.
Mhm.
And so much like last year, you'll see some guys change positions and you'll see some guys kind of move other ways. It's because you're always trying to find a way to A, make your team stronger, but B, get better talent on the field.
Yeah, the
And
best
get them
11.
on the field early. Yeah,
Yep.
and get them on the field early.
Yep.
So you'll see some position changes happen when we finalize that in January and move. And certainly with those 5 running backs, you'll see them work at some other areas too because they're just so talented.
Well, Coach, to let you go here, and I know that this is a nice way of wrapping this thing up here. I know you probably want to thank that Jacket Nation. Last week, again, probably 4-1 outnumbering the Langston Hughes folks there inside that stadium. We have not played an away game in 3 years.
No.
Period.
Not at all. I mean, it's but it goes back, much like the players. I mean, tradition doesn't graduate.
Yeah.
And the tradition of the school, the fans, it was a sleeping giant that just needed a little nudge to wake up.
Yeah.
And it's awoke, baby. And it is on. And so they're just phenomenal. And not only are they phenomenal during the game, but I mean, just how special it is when we arrive somewhere, the amount of fans that are there at 5:30, 2 hours before kickoff. I mean, and that's why it's genuine.
5 hours
it's
from
real.
home. 5 hours from home.
It's not transactional. It's a special place, and so we talk about that in our program. I hope our players never take that for granted.
Yeah.
Because it is truly humbling, inspiring, mesmerizing. I mean, you can just add so many adjectives to describe it because it's amazing.
Yep. Jamie?
Coach, this has nothing to do with us, but I've got to ask because you've got a unique perspective on a lot of things on how you see stuff.
Mhm.
Give me your perspective on that coffee and Langston game.
Yeah, I
Or
know
you,
it,
or you
man.
mean
I know
the coffee? Okay. Yeah.
Styles make fights. Styles make fights. Always know that.
Can coffee
think
keep the ball
coffee's-
away from them enough to?
I'm telling you, if you told me right now, I got to put my money somewhere. Like, boy, you got to put $100 on something, and I got to do it. I'm probably going with Coffee Trojans.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can run the ball at Langston. We proved it.
Yep.
We ran the ball at them. All right. What got us in trouble was getting off schedule on some passes and play action stuff.
I got
Hell,
you.
they can't do that. So you got to worry about them trying it.
Yep.
They
Yep.
can't even do it.
That's right.
So they're going to stay on schedule. So the limiting factor that they don't have that enticement, they'll play that long, boring game. And I
Right.
think that will frustrate Langston.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so if they can get a couple of timely stops, get some good timely stops and put together long drives, and I think they can. I think they can run the ball and put together long drives. I think that will frustrate Langston's rhythm
Mm-hmm.
and could give them fits. And so I think that's a way to beat that team
Yep.
is you keep their offense on the sideline. You can run the ball between the tackles. Inside zone was great for us. They've got a great back and a great O-line. Bob Hall, the O-line coach at Coffee, is phenomenal. They are very well coached there in the O-line. And that's why I think now it will be a tight ball game. It will come down to the fourth quarter and a score. So now, like a fight, styles make fights.
Yep.
I mean, Langston Hughes can hit you with a knockout right now. And so that could very well happen too. But I think it'll be a really tight ball game. And I think Coffee's got it. The way they play that game will set up for them really well against that team, in my opinion.
I agree. Me and you were kind of. Told them on the way home.
And I don't know which way I'm gonna be more upset about. Either way, way, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, I know.
Well, I think
it's gonna be like a punch in the stomach.
Yeah.
Either freaking
Well-
way, because I know we were good enough to be there.
Absolutely.
And we just one of them nights.
and
So
the thing about it,
either
Coach,
way, I don't think I'm even gonna look at it. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
watch
the
no
same
other
way.
games.
I think our defense is better than Coffee's.
No doubt.
So-
I mean, we're better. I don't want to say. I mean,
So
we played them before. I'll leave it at
Yeah.
that.
that's right.
Well, now
That's right.
let me ask you opinion on the other side while we're talking about opinions here with the Milton and Lee game. I mean, you're talking about two Titans going at it there.
I agree. Now Lee's a monster. They're a monster like no other, in the way they run the ball and the run game don't have off nights, and so they're going to run the ball and be effective.
Right.
However, that dang Milton ain't got many dang weaknesses now.
No, they don't.
They are loaded, and that quarterback is something other else.
Yeah.
And he's a competitor. He's got one of those receivers that is unbelievable. Heck, they got 3 tight ends. They all got Division I offers. They're so loaded. The one deal will be is Milton's D line. How do they hold up against Lee's O line?
Right.
Because they ain't seen nothing like that.
That pounding they're going to get.
And they play, they play their ends in a stand-up stance. And I don't know. I don't know if they're working on this week. Maybe that's just something that they're going to get their hands back in the dirt. I don't think that's going to work. I think they're going to get that hand down in the dirt on the ends, or they're going to give up some problems off tackle with that. So they're going to play with better pad level than they played at the D-line position, or Lee's going to give them a lot of fits. But in saying that, I do think you can get the ball on the edges and throw against the corners at Lee. And so I think that will be a problem. And so, I'm on, I think Milton. I really think Milton's going to win it. I think it's going to be one of those games, about a 10-point game, that's going to just stay right there in striking distance the entire time. Yeah. But it would not shock me now for Lee to win that game, because Lee's a really good football team.
Yeah, no question.
And so both games are going to be tight. They'll be 10 points or less, both games. Tight ball games to go either way. But if I got to pick, that's kind of how I'd pick. And ain't that something if you see Milton Coffee and Lee and Central sitting here watching it?
Yeah. I mean, that's
wild, ain't it?
Yeah.
But it just shows you Georgia football, man. Georgia football, good football.
Absolutely.
Especially when you get to the top 2 classifications.
Yep.
I mean, there's some dudes every year. I mean, there's about 8 teams every year at both classes that are good enough to win it. And it's just who's going to play good on those nights.
That's right.
Coach, it don't happen much to have 4 teams in the quarterfinals from the same region.
Oh, no.
That just don't happen much. That don't happen much.
At a high classification. Like you see that sometimes in single A and double A.
Yeah.
But you don't see that up there at the big boys very much. And
That's
so
right.
that was something for our region to be super proud of. And all the coaches that we met Monday as a region with all the head coaches, and we all talked about it. Like, unless you've lived this walk, you don't understand how tough it is.
Right.
Like his region is something other. It's a booger by the first round of playoffs. We all were like, whew, thank God we all get a break.
Yep.
Because it was our region so tough.
Yeah. Well, Coach, listen, go enjoy yourself and have a great Christmas, great holidays, and congratulations on another solid season, man. I mean, just another good one that sets the table for what we hope will be another special year coming up with the next one.
There you go. Well, man, we done started our next season. Shoot, I done have 2 practices already with 8 and under YMCA basketball. So get you some of that. And so I'm coaching Coop's team.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm a glutton for punishment apparently. And so I'm doing that. We going Nolan Richardson, man. We going 40 minutes of hell on folks.
8-year-olds. Just say it's 40 minutes of heck just for those guys. So just for the little guys.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you something, Coach. You got to do something
the
with
other day
all
on Paula Williamson. Yeah, I don't get a chance to coach Coop ever because football and baseball kind of coincides with obviously football and spring football. So I told him last year, he asked me last year at the end, and I told him, so next year I'll coach a basketball team for you, just so I could be involved. So it's been fun. I got Joe Thornton roped into doing it with me, baby.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's got Braden. He's got Braden, and then we got Coach Shaver's grandson and Kyle's son Pierce on there too. So I done roped him in. So yeah, we got
to be pretty good.
I was gonna say that's some athletes there now. That's pretty good. That's 40.
And you got Melissa Rogers. She's in charge of basketball operations.
Somebody's got to organize it, so that's a good thing.
Ain't no doubt.
That's right.
No doubt.
That's
I'm gonna get in here and watch these Alabama high school championships.
Yeah, go on.
I'll watch that. Yeah, I watched that Thompson one last night with Central. It was a good game. I think Moody's on tonight.
Okay,
so I'm going to go turn that on and watch those guys tonight.
Well, Coach, thanks again for joining us through the course of the year. We'll be starting these back up after the new year, and we'll get with you and we'll check in and keep everybody up to date with what's going on with the program. But again, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for the special year, and already looking forward to kicking it off in 2025.
Yes, sir. Like I say,
Absolutely.
really enjoyed it. I think it's pretty cool what you guys are doing. I think it's really neat, kind of an inside look, and continue to talk about our boys and our program. So I thank y'all for taking the time to do it. And Jacket Nation, love you, love you, love you. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Amen.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Take care, man.
All right.
And again, thanks to Dairy Queen, the one, the only. They're on Highway 19.
Absolutely.
That rhymes.
That was pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Poet
what,
don't even know it.
he'll find one every now and
There you
then.
go. Get a rhyme most every
Well, I'll
time.
tell you, it's just a pleasure to talk to him.
Well, it's a
He's
good
got
time.
so much energy.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Thomas County Central Yellow Jacket. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, and I know you guys, and we talked about this last year after won the state championship. All of the younger folks, Jamie, that didn't they weren't a part of what happened in the 90s and the feeling of that.
Yep.
I think they're getting a real good dose of it.
Yep.
And it's special. It's special. And it spoils you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It spoils you.
No doubt.
Because we were talking about it before we got in here. Bryce was like, I shouldn't feel bad, but I mean, we should be playing. And I'm like, it spoils you, man, because you expect it. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
And now the thing we got to be real careful with is we kind of know the animal that we've got caged up over there that's coming back next year.
Yeah.
We got to be real careful that this team will be a lot of the same kids, but it's a new team.
Right.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a new forging of team unity, and
Yeah.
Yep.
They gotta learn how to play with each other.
That's
You
it.
lose big time players like Reddick and
Rubo.
and you're losing some of that glue.
Yep.
So somebody's got to step in there, and I have a feeling we'll be fine.
Somebody
with
will.
Somebody will.
Cam,
Yeah.
Cam will be fine. He'll
Amari
step
or somebody.
Amari.
Yep.
Got Coop on the offensive line. He and
Corchigan. Yeah.
the Mad Russian. He's down there. I feel like we're in really good shape there.
Yep.
We've got
absolutely.
some really big time. Of course, we'll talk about that.
Yep.
Guys to replace, but it's all about how those guys gel.
Yeah.
But I think our coaching staff does a great job
Mhm.
of that team building.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
even when Coach Pilcher was here, I didn't see a lot of that team building.
No, you're right.
But
There's a
this
conscious
staff,
effort to have that now.
the trips,
Yeah.
just keeping them together and letting them have fun together. It ain't all about just getting beat up at practice.
Yeah.
stuff.
And all the
There's-
off-season camps they go
Absolutely.
do now,
And it's-
spring,
it's,
fall camp, or in the middle of fall camp, they go do the 7-on-7s at
yeah,
Florida,
man.
Florida State.
That's right.
Well,
Georgia,
all
Rogers,
above.
when Rogers came in, he said that he wasn't here to build great athletes. He was here to build great young men, and that was going to translate over. And that's exactly what we see. And that's how these teams gel so well, is because in between the ears, these guys are learning how to be great young men in
Yep.
everything that they do, not just football. And that's why you see this gel that we see. And so it's a really important part that you brought that
Hey,
up.
and it's the whole mantra of the coach has got my back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we do stupid stuff,
Mhm.
but the coaches still when they come off, the coach still got their back.
You feel like you
Now,
got somebody fighting for you.
There may
Yeah.
be some stuff said,
Sure.
but the coach has got your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot to be said for that.
Well, I want to do this real quick. I want to share the final statistics, offensive from our team, which are spectacular. We mentioned that Jalen Johnson is now the all-time leading single-season and career passing leader for Thomas County Central. He ended up with 2,724 yards for this season with a 62% completion rate, or 149 out of 241 as far as his completions and attempts. Rushing the ball, 3,016 yards.
Wow.
That
balance,
is
man.
incredible. I mean, again,
Wow.
you're
That's
talking
awesome, man.
you're talking about 200 or so yards between your passing and your rushing statistics. Deuce Lawrence finishes with 1469. AJ 743. Kobe Carnage with 244. What's cool? Go ahead.
I don't know running back as far as rushing yards per year, but that's got to be one of the better.
Yeah, as far as the totals are concerned, no question. Because you go past Deuce, AJ, Kobe, Ahmad, and Evan Martin, all added up are over 1,000 yards between those guys as well.
Hey, what's the total carries for AJ and Deuce? Like, what are they like?
AJ had
Okay.
117, average 6.35 per carry. Deuce 161, average 9.12. 9.12 per game
Not bad.
or per carry. That's pretty sporty.
No doubt.
But again, congratulations. And receiving wise, again, 2,826 receiving yards. But J.B. Watkins, the sophomore, leads the team with 832. Rodney Dunbar, junior, 559. Gary Pringle, a freshman, with 393. Deuce with
And hurt
326.
4 or 5 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now he plays those 4 or 5 games. He
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you though, that wide receiver room we got,
Ooh.
man.
Loaded.
I don't even know.
It's
I don't
good,
even know
though.
what word to describe it as.
just don't be
We've never-
surprised if you don't see a Gary Pringle putting a hat on somebody next year. He may be a linebacker or something.
Well-
his whole
Physicality,
demeanor,
man.
that he is.
Well, and based on what we saw with how they used Trey Pringle this year,
Yeah.
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 the coaches will find the best place to put these guys
Yeah.
because I think Trey grew into that nickel position so solidly.
Now, if I'm Jalen, now I'm pitching a fit.
Yeah,
I'm pitching a fit. Now I'm a senior now.
yeah, yeah,
Coach, I'm throwing to him.
yeah.
Trey is so good as a wide receiver. I mean,
Oh, he is. Man.
and you know he's so good at corner or linebacker hybrid
Yeah,
corner.
yeah, yeah.
I'm calling it a corner because he drops back more coverage than he is.
And he's physical.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now he come up run stop a
He's
lot
physical.
too now, but
Yeah.
he he uses all of his I'm gonna say skills from the receiver side to fit the DB
Yep.
Well,
coverage
the thing
side.
about it is
and it works.
he's so familiar with.
Oh,
he
how-
knows what the
how to
receivers
play
think.
that,
Yeah.
how that
Right.
DB's thinking,
Right.
and when he's a receiver, and then when he's a DB, he knows exactly
Talking at
what,
microphones.
what the
Yeah.
what that wide receiver's thinking too. So
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like he's got all those tools.
Yeah, I bet in practice, I mean, obviously he knows plays on both sides of the football. I guarantee you, whenever he's running walkthroughs or whatever. I bet he's a menace out there because he
Oh,
exactly just off the lineup, he knows what's coming.
Some sort of the alignment. He goes, I know what we're doing.
Yeah,
I know what
exactly,
we're
because he
doing."
knows the receiving side of it. So he's like, oh, I know where this guy's going.
Well, if that don't matter though, because if Jalen reads somebody over
Sure.
the top, he ain't
Yeah.
throwing it to him.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, let's go through these seniors real quick. Now we're not gonna get real involved, but I want to acknowledge all of our senior players.
Absolutely.
87 Zamari Wilson, who came in and wrap up duty and did a fantastic job when he got on the field.
Yep.
Drew Renault,
Mm.
who I think is probably the owner of the most important field goal ever kicked in Thomas County Central football history.
Yep.
The kick against Rome last year, very consistent, and that he will be missed. Ethan Rayberg at wide receiver, again, one of those guys, Jamie, you were talking about in the offseason, and every time he had an opportunity to make a play, he flat sure made it. Now.
Yep. He great athlete.
Yep.
Great athlete.
Big LeVar Madison down on the line, who played defense for a while, now
Mhm.
played offense. I mean, whatever you needed him to do.
Very physical.
Yep, and such a good young man. Demarie Diggs down there on the offensive line. He was injured and was able to get back on the
Mhm.
field, and that did your heart good to see that senior be able to get it back out there.
Yep.
Travis McKellen,
Yep.
a big offensive lineman as well. Bryson Pannell, who was a wide receiver who got in and backup duty as well.
His first year.
Yeah. He he's always had a condition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
A heart condition.
heart condition. Yeah.
And I was able to. It's actually a really cool story, man, of a kid having to watch, and then
Being
turned
able to,
loose and
yep.
to get to play. So
Braylon Gunner, you talk about a throwback.
Mm.
He is cut from that old
Tough.
school bolt of cloth now.
Mm.
Tough,
as
tough,
they
tough.
come, buddy.
He's one of those I like to say you could tackle a pine tree.
Yep.
Yeah, he's one
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
Ahmad Ponder, one of the names that kind of etched in stone in some ways. I think he was a huge part of that state championship,
Absolutely.
and that'll be the one. What if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the whole season, as far as I'm concerned, what if Ahmad had been able to? But of course, got injured early on. But
Yeah.
Carson Creech, long snapper, just money.
Got a
Well-
great opportunity to play at the next
Yep,
level.
Yeah,
Yep.
The fact that we haven't said his name a whole lot this
You're
year
right.
is a
Yeah.
good
That
thing.
tells you
good-
something.
That's like
Because that means he's done his job.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. Cam Simon, defensive end, who you talk about another story, who had sickness, he had tragedy in his family, he had injuries and stuff, but continued to fight through it, had some huge plays this year. In fact, I go back to the Houston County game. I think he was one of the primary reasons we won that football game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's earned himself a college scholarship as a result of his efforts as well. Okoye Rawls, just a couple of pick sixes this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those guys that I think a lot of folks going into the season went, well, I don't know. Yeah, it didn't take long to figure out. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yep. And came on strong, too.
Big time.
Yeah.
Caden Lundy, who's a backup linebacker. Jay Jones, another one of those guys that kind of flew under the radar.
Mhm.
I mean, every time he had an opportunity to make a big play, he made it. I mean, he had a huge pass reception the other night.
Yeah.
Yep. Daniel Jester.
Solid as a rock.
He
buddy.
was. Absolutely.
Or Donnell Jester, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not Daniel. Daniel's coming back.
Yeah.
Donnell, the older brother, will be graduating. A.J. Clark. And another one. You talk about perseverance. You talk about a young man who missed pretty much his entire junior season with a hamstring injury that he just could not get rid of. And this year, he blossomed.
Yep.
I mean, he grew up right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, as the year went, he got stronger and stronger.
And earned a college scholarship as well, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. And then Jaden Rubo, again, legend of the nest, all-state linebacker, one of the most instinctive football players that has ever worn a Thomas County Central football jersey. He just had a knack for knowing where to go and what to do when he got there. And that's not something – you don't coach that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't coach
quarterback of the defense.
Yep.
Yeah. I've never seen somebody that could come up with the ball like he could. He
Just found it.
If there was a pile
Yep.
and the ball was to be found, he was the one that came out with it.
Absolutely.
Well, I got
Every
tickled
time.
the other night. There was one of those piles where it just took about 10 minutes, it felt like, to unpile, and all of a sudden he comes out of the pile with the ball almost like he was declaring his oath to the Pride Lands with the thing holding it up right there. And anyway, just a fantastic and such a good young man.
Yep.
His future is totally secure. And then D. Reddick. I mean, you're talking a young man who started as a freshman. And I'll be honest with you, guys, I didn't know how much we were going to get from D. Reddick this year. Back at the beginning of the year when he had that injury,
Yeah.
we all kind of went, and we knew what was on the table as far as his future was concerned.
In the scrimmage game, we're talking. Right?
And that Lowndes game, and you were kind of thinking, and we talked about it. Wouldn't blame him a bit if he just said, you know, guys, I probably need to protect myself.
Yeah.
Need to go ahead and get this shoulder surgery that I've been putting off.
Yeah.
But no, he came back and played as well or better than ever. And again, a legend of the nest.
And that means a lot. I mean, me watching all this college stuff, that means a lot to me. And I know it does to y'all
Yeah,
too.
big time.
But dang,
Wade,
good for him.
yeah.
That's the way it should be.
It's hard to find players anymore that have pride in playing for the teams they play for.
Yep.
It is hard to find that, especially in the college level. And to see that here at the high school level still it's why we do it, really. I mean, it is.
Yeah, in fact, D signed yesterday with Southern Cal, and his only statement was, I'm so proud that I was able to play my high school football at Thomas County Central High School. And we ran a little video from him earlier in the year where he just said, you know, in the tailgate show interview, you want to say anything to Thomas County? He just said, I just love y'all. So that's your group of seniors, and some big shoes to fill. But, again, 5 starters. So you've got 17 of 22 coming back. And the table is set for some very special things. But I do think Jamie hits on a point. They've got to become a team.
Mhm.
And we all need to kind of temper all that stuff, because we've been talking about Milton and all of those D1 guys that they've got on this team this year. Thomas County Central is going to be close to that. If
we'll
not,
have 9 or 10.
maybe 10 or 11 by the time it's over with.
The thing about it is there's so much potential.
Oh, man.
So
Yep.
let's
Yep.
be patient.
Yep.
And let them all kind of gel together. And
Yeah.
then
Well, we know
you're probably going to see something
take the
special.
potential, put it on the back burner, and let's just watch it cook.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to comment on that too, now, you know, the Milton thing, they got some great players, don't get me wrong. But now all our guys, homegrown guys now.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, we
We
don't
don't-
go out to California and go get him out here and him
Yep.
in Colorado and him in Kansas. No.
Well, and that's one of the things that's kind of been, I don't want to say disheartening, but this last week in talking about the Langston Hughes game, Like their quarterback, he's been to 3 different high schools now in 4 years. This is his first year as a part of the team for Langston Hughes. And part of the thing with we talked last week about the fan support. You've got a lot of guys that are just kind of revolving through those doors, and thank goodness that's not the case here. I mean, you've got these legacy guys, these names that have been a part of this thing, and I mean, you have like a Deuce Lawrence who comes in here and moves in from Tallahassee. Everybody from Bainbridge to Valdosta knew about that, but up there in the camouflage of what's happening in that metro area, it's impossible to keep up with it. But I'm just proud that that's not the case here.
Yeah,
well,
me
just
too.
to let everybody know, when we had the rosters last week.
Yep.
And while we were driving in, we're always doing stuff. And
That's
I
an
said,
understatement.
Randy says, check out that roster right there from Langston Hughes. You tell me what sticks out to you. And I said, well, they've got 37 seniors. I said, how many 11th graders do they have? And they had 9.
Yep.
Wow.
So I'm like,
Wow.
well, the cupboard will be bare next year. But from what I understand, there was about 15 seniors there last year, and they ended up with 37.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
So that kind of movement, I don't understand how that's camouflaged.
Because it's simple, Jamie. You've got so much dense population in a small area, and they're not moving. I mean, they're in their same districts. They're in the same school districts. They're just going from one place to another to find what quote unquote fits them.
Fulton County, even geography, it's a big county, and we were in the part that barely tapers down, and with all those high schools, I mean,
yeah, you look at Gwinnett up there.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I don't. Again, I know it's a problem, and I don't know what you do about it. I mean, I just
There's
don't know.
nothing you can't. I mean, today's world, social media and all this stuff, there's nothing you can do.
No.
Because, and I mean, you got to look at it from a player's perspective too now. It means a lot to them to get on the field.
Yep.
Nowadays. I mean, if you're a 11th or 12th grader and you don't think you're going to get to play, I mean, it's just common nature nowadays to go somewhere where you can.
Well, what happened to the like me? My son's going to be a Yellow Jacket.
Well, you've been here all your life. Your family's
This
been
is-
here.
I mean, that's
And what you
my
see
son,
though.
My son told me when he could barely talk and we were throwing a football, when the football was bigger than him.
Yeah.
That he was going to be a Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
Heck, he wanted Adam Choice. He got his birthday at the field, and he didn't want his name on the cake. He said, "Put Adam Choice's name on it."
But
it was-
well, the difference is, Jamie, and we see this, and I'm not saying this specifically as a slight against Langston Hughes, and I'm not really saying any of this as a slight against
to
anybody,
anybody.
but because it is what it is.
What
I
does
mean,
it mean?
But when you, it hurts your support because, like we talked about, the number of fans in the stands for Langston Hughes. A lot of the kids that are those program guys who are built through that program, they get to their junior and senior year, and all of a sudden there's somebody who just shows up.
They get replaced.
And now those parents are like, well, then why would we want to go to the games? I mean, again, if our kids aren't that much more important, then again, anyway, is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and Obadiah is making the point that it sounds like Florida, where they can go pretty much where they want, and that's the truth.
Florida's the difference being in Florida is that you can transfer mid-school year and be playing baseball somewhere else.
Yeah.
Play tennis somewhere else. Play football. It could all happen. You could swap schools all in the same.
Yeah, Florida's wild,
Play
wild
multiple
west.
sports.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
sir.
can play football at one, basketball at another one, and baseball at another one.
Yep.
Every
One
year if
year.
you wanted to.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh, we ain't got it so bad then.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
It could be far worse.
it
But
could be.
then you go back to see why is Florida high school sports not as much on the national radar as you see the integral part that is Georgia high school football. Well, it goes back to that same reason. You got people going from school to school here to yonder, and they're like,
Yeah.
can't keep up with it.
Yep.
Here, the same guy that's playing football is probably on the baseball team or on the basketball team. There's more to follow, and there's more diligence
He
there to
makes a
follow it.
difference all through the program.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
you're
here's
right.
a part too that is just recently happened the last handful of years, and I follow along. I'm a huge Florida fan, obviously. If
What?
I didn't know, so
Bless-
I
bless him,
follow
bless
along
him.
with recruiting and stuff like that. And it's a new thing nowadays. If this cut like say Georgia, let's say last year or 2 years ago, whatever, they had the Dylan Raiola kid that's in Nebraska now. He was it he come from California or something?
Yeah, he
was
did,
on the
yeah.
West Coast. Anyway, his senior year, he was committed to Georgia. He's played at what, Buford or
Buford,
something?
Yep.
Slid into Buford.
And
right
that's
next to where Georgia's at.
And that's what moved the kid who's the quarterback now at Langston Hughes to Langston Hughes because of the Rayola kid.
Yeah, and so colleges get their guy that's going to be coming to them, and they move them across the state for their senior year of ball, and it just throws everything else off the loop, and it just trickles down everywhere else.
Yep. But that's not the case here.
Yeah,
and to me,
which I'm glad it's not.
It permeates the community when you've got those community kids like Eli that have. I mean, it's in their DNA. Yep. And it's just special. It's just special. One more time, thanks to Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, the Curl crew.
We appreciate them underpinning our efforts this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, flat out.
Huge
Greg, we owe you a lot, buddy. We sure appreciate
Sure.
it. And
Obadiah was asking about our thoughts on Chroma going to FSU.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's.
Jamie said that's great.
As an FSU guy,
Perfect.
and as a Georgia guy, let me say this. I mean, Georgia is not lacking for running backs. I mean, they've got two guys that have barely played this year who were top 5 running backs in the country who are now just getting healthy. They've got two guys that are probably going to be redshirted who were top 5 in the last 2 years. I get it. He's got an opportunity to go to FSU and contribute and make an impact right now.
Yeah.
And
him and Cam Davis.
Think about that now.
That is so cool.
That's a South Georgia 2-punch, right? Or combination.
Yep. Big time.
Now, Cromon, now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, it would not surprise me if he won a Heisman Trophy down there. And I know that's a long shot. You know, not a long shot, but early
He does
assessment.
amazing
But let me
He's
tell you,
something.
with my own 2 eyes, I've
Not
watched a
mine.
lot of high school games. I've never in person seen a running back that good at a high school level.
Yeah.
I'm going to be is just well rounded across the board.
Power,
Speed, agility, catching.
I seen
all
the
of it.
Braille.
Yeah.
I got to witness that.
Yeah, no, I
that
did.
was
see-
unbelievable.
Yeah,
But
Joe Burns.
this
wasn't far behind.
guy can now. The Braille ran downhill.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. Well,
And
because
once
he's
he
about,
got wound up, he just outrun everybody.
he's about 260 that too
Well,
now. So
Well,
Yeah.
Cromwell gets in the hole, and like he's wide open and takes a sidestep and is wide open again.
Yeah. Yeah.
With knees that look like they're about to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like it. And I talk to people that know him really good
Yeah.
Oh,
up there
man.
in Leesburg.
Yeah.
And they say he's an unbelievable kid.
Well, I mean, he's a candidate to be their
And he's a
valedictorian.
candidate to be their valedictorian.
he is so strong. I mean,
It's
his key is, when he's running the ball, is right up the middle, and it looks like you got him stopped. And then
Yep.
I don't know, it's like he puts it in a low gear and puts everybody on his back, and the pile just moves 10 more
That
yards.
run that got put out there.
Where he stumbled about 4 or 5 times and caught himself in the sprinter stance and then kept going.
Or it jumped over the
They
whole
were playing
pile.
coffee.
or-
They were playing coffee.
Man, that was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a bunch of those. But the main thing is the move to FSU. It makes sense. And not that I wouldn't have loved to have him at Georgia. I'm sure that Florida would love to have him too.
Oh, yeah. We were never in the picture, but I wish we were.
But I think, again, from his standpoint, it's a smart move. We've been asked about quarterbacks coming up, Jamie. And I know we've got Cooper Creech, which is a real good one. We got Peyton Roundtree, who's coming up. And then we got a young freshman, and I don't have him here on the roster. Can't find him, but there's a lot of talk about that young man, and I can't think of his name right now.
He does a lot of scout team work. I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
But, I guess that's part of getting old. But he does crazy stuff. He makes great throws. It reminds me a lot of Jalen. To be
Mhm.
honest with you, he's tall, and he's part of that 9th grade class. Let me just go ahead and put it
Pretty
out there.
special.
They ain't never been beat.
Yeah, pretty special.
They win. They won every 9th grade game. They won every 8th grade game. They won every 7th grade game.
Wow.
It's just they're, and I think there's like 70 of them or 68 of them or something.
Yeah, we were
it's
talking
something crazy, but
We were talking about that too. Next year's senior class is going to be massive size-wise, but the current sophomore class that'll be juniors next year,
it's bigger
there's
than
almost
that.
50 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's like 70 ninth graders.
Yeah,
The numbers are
You
ridiculous.
said 58 seniors?
What's that?
58 seniors?
dang, we're not far.
No,
off
no,
from old
I
Jim.
don't think it's 58. I mean,
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's 68 according to certain
68.
sources that I know
But
of.
if he's got 68 seniors, that's the lineup at Camellia Gardens.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had to. I had to say
can't
that.
wait. But I can't wait to the year that maybe we do have 68.
No, that's
When you
possible
step
now.
in there.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Hawk Fenoy made the comment that Chroma is different. Malik Wolf is what Ashley Sowell is saying. That
Yes.
Malik Wolf.
He's special. I'll just go ahead and tell you.
Yep.
You remember how I let y'all kind of know about
Rayburg.
Rayburg? Wait.
Well, again, the depth there is good, and that's good news. That is really good news. Let's see here real quick.
But Roundtree has made a lot.
No, he's made some progress now, no doubt.
And when he'll get another year to work under Jalen.
Yep.
And could really be impressive now his senior year. Now,
Getting those varsity snaps have helped too. 'Cause he's
Absolutely.
helped a lot to get it.
What was the last game they? I'm going to say the
Wanderbarrow.
Team 2 come in and they moved. Yeah, it was Wanderbarrow.
Touchdowns.
They scored
They
2
got-
touchdowns and drove for a third, and the game ended. They were inside the 20. Scored again.
The threes actually come in and drove it down. Well, he was still quarterback.
Well, the twos were moving into Rome.
And that's in a Georgia. That's in a Georgia 5A playoff game. now.
Absolutely.
Okay, before we get any further, and I do not, if you guys have got any of the results from the flag team, please share them with us. But I want us to watch this story that Channel 6 did about Paige
14-7, us at half.
Whoa, okay, we're winning.
Okay.
There we go. I like it.
I love it.
But let's take a look and see what Allison Posey and our friends down at Channel 6 did with this story about Paige Parkerson and our flag football team.
The Thomas County Central flag football team will play in its first ever playoff game in their first ever season this Thursday. The Jackets have Paige Parkerson to thank for helping to make it happen. And getting a flag team for her senior year was something she couldn't have scripted any better. Paige Parkerson, our Scholar Athlete of the Week. It all started with an idea in a hotel room.
I saw flag football on TV and I looked at my dad and I was like, I didn't realize that was a real sport. And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, can we get one?
Next came a petition and then an interest meeting.
Whenever we had our first meeting at the high school, I think we had 80 girls.
And by the fall, flag football was a sport at Thomas County Central, just in time for Paige Parkerson's senior year.
This is the most fun I've ever had, so I'm really glad I get to be a part of it.
A part of history is something Paige is kind of used to. The soccer standout helped lead the Jackets to an undefeated regular season last year and a region title. And it's her soccer prowess that's translated right over to the gridiron.
For outside linebacker, it's very much like defending in soccer. It's kind of like how I move in soccer. I kind of jockey and make sure they stay in front of me.
We kind of say all the time, winners win. And an athlete that's going to win somewhere is going to win somewhere else. And that's very evident in Paige, no matter what field she's on.
Winners win in the classroom, too, where Paige has a 4.18 GPA.
That academic smartness shows up on the field. Understanding what we're trying to do and what we're seeing against our opponents, she's able to grasp that a lot faster.
I just want to have all A's all the time, I guess. I try and push people to be the best that they can be, and I want them to push me to be the best that I can be as well.
Pushing to make things happen, like making a dream a reality.
I just hope, like, little girls, when they grow up, I hope they want to look up to me and be like, she was pretty cool. I want to put in the effort that she put in just to do as much as she could.
And that's an idea to get behind. So Paige said she plans to attend Georgia Southern. She's just going to play for fun. She wants to play soccer and flag football, of course, intramurally. She wants to be an interior designer, construction management, and real estate one day. So that's what she wants to major in, construction management and interior design, so she can make all the money selling.
There you go. Well, you know, and I love that she said she's clearly a competitive athlete, but she said, this is the most fun I have ever had.
Yeah.
I love
New sport, too.
Great,
Super
yeah,
cool.
not every Scholar Athlete helps create the team they're on.
Exactly.
Cool story.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I didn't know you could get over a 4.0 GPA.
We didn't ever see it.
I say that shows you what my GPA was.
We didn't ever see it.
She may need to share that 0.1.
We told Bryce the ceiling was 3.0 when he was coming up, just so he felt good. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
It was within reach.
I'd have be average with that.
So, again, congratulations to the girls and Chad Parkerson, but congratulations to Paige. I mean, and you can tell, man, those youngins, the Parkerson girls have been raised right and doing a fantastic job. And hopefully they can keep on making a run through the playoffs, and maybe we'll see them up at the Benz. That would be awesome.
That would be incredible.
They have competed all season long. I mean, and that was the thing. And Parkerson told me, he and I got a chance to talk about it a couple weeks ago. He said, I told the girls when we started, we will be competitive. That was the goal.
Well, they were.
I said, man, I said, you nailed it because hey, I've never seen any kind of program,
be
take
competitive
off
on the first year
like
of
this.
anything.
Yeah. And even going back when we started volleyball, volleyball was competitive our very first year when we did it. But this has just been a step above of anything else we've done as far as starting a program.
Let me ask you guys real quick before we kind of get ready to head into the home stretch where we're thinking a lot of folks. What you looking at?
It's Augustus Green guy.
Oh, he's
the Gringo.
Your pick in 5A. Who you going with? What are you thinking?
5A?
Yeah, as far as the state championship is concerned, we're not
Are
going
we
to
picking
go.
with my mind or with my heart?
Just
I'm
what you going to
making
pick?
a business decision. It's going to be Milton.
Yeah.
No, I'd say that's sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like I said, Coach Roger said, "I make you put $100 down." That's why I'm going. But now, I think I think Lee could do it very easily.
I wouldn't surprise me if they did.
No.
Yeah.
Because they're having a phenomenal season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with the athletes they have now, they can compete. And Milton has shown at times this year where they've let people hang around a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you let Lee County hang around, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, Gainesville gave him a pretty good run. So did Roswell.
Yeah.
And this is my opinion on it. Now, Langston and Coffee, those are two great teams, but I think your state championship is tomorrow night and
Lee with Milton.
That's my opinion.
You see the national polls come out yesterday, right?
Yeah.
They too.
Yeah, and the nation. What you thinking?
I mean, it's hard to bet against Milton on anything. I will say the one thing that it makes Langston Hughes so unique is just their speed. I've just never seen anything like it. I think that
They can strike from anywhere.
If anything, they can compete with anybody just because of that. As far as keeping everything in front of them, they have the best opportunity to do it.
Levels at playing field.
Big time.
I really saw a lot with that team, but now I will say Milton has all the weapons, and they have, like Roger said, very minimal places where you can kind of pinpoint a weakness. So there's no reason to doubt them as the favorite.
Well, everybody doubted them, Langston Hughes, that year. It's been about 3 years ago. They played Buford, and
wore 'em out.
Langston had never attempted a field goal all year.
Yep.
And it came down to a daggum field goal,
Yep.
and the kid missed it to win the game.
Yep.
And it was their only chance. They recovered an onside kick or something and got it down there where time was running out. They tried to kick to win it. And nobody put them in there, I promise you.
Yeah.
Nobody put them even in the game.
And the same thing goes for Coffee too. They can run the ball consistently. They keep that ball away from the other offense, limit the possessions, and that's their game, and they do it really
right.
well.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
I'll
what-
tell you
that's
this,
what Lee
they
does
turn
so
it
well.
over 4 or 5 times tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a ball.
Coffee
game,
will
man.
pound them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt. The thing about Langston, though, is, again, they're never out of a game just because they can strike so quick and hit from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
But
Any play.
You just don't see high school football teams with 13 Division I guys. You just don't. I don't know that I have ever heard of that.
IMG.
I mean, that's different.
That's right.
But I don't know that I've ever heard of it at a public high school.
Now, I want to say too, and y'all mentioned it on the radio Friday after the game. Coach Boone up there, that is a great guy. right there.
Yeah, my gosh.
Yep.
He's
We enjoyed talking to
funny.
him. We enjoyed talking to
As
him.
far as who I'm rooting for, it's hard for me to root against Langston because he really was a great guy.
Yep.
Just as nice as he can be. And like I said, too, the thing that stands out about that team beyond any other is they are playing for each other and playing for their coaching staff.
That's dangerous.
Because that's who supports each other up there is them and themselves. And
That's
that
right.
to me, that's a lot, and especially for a high school.
Well, he told us as we were, he came to talk to us as we were getting ready to set up in the stands with the radio equipment. And he said, just get the message to Coach Rogers now. If y'all wear us out, he's going to have to get me a job. Very genuine about it, too.
Yeah,
you want to do the scholarship update real quick before
Yeah,
we start
we can
getting
do
into
that.
our thanks here and wrapping this thing up?
may take a minute. To
That's
do it
okay.
now.
That's good. That's good news.
That's a good
Okay.
thing.
All right. Let me get it pulled up here. All right. Now this is we forgot to do it last week, so this is 2 weeks worth.
Okay.
Jaden Rubo got an offer from Peru State and Florida Memorial University. Cam Brooks got an offer from UCLA. Trayvon Pringle got an offer from Georgia State. Cam Simon, 4 offers here. University of Pikeville, Faulkner University, Andrew College, and Bluefield University. 5, I'm sorry, and Dean College
There we go.
today.
Good job, Cam.
Travis McClellan got an offer from Graceland University. AJ Clark with an offer from Florida Memorial University as well with Jaden. And you told me when we got here, Amari Stevenson got an offer from East Carolina.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. That's pretty sporty.
So,
I tell you, Ken makes a good point.
What did he say?
Ken said he got a chance to watch Derrick Henry play in high school.
Mm-hmm.
He said Cromar is the closest that he's seen.
Yeah.
And that's big time now.
Yeah, you're right. Won't get much better.
hey, you
than
talking about the guy Will Muschamp at Florida wanted to be a linebacker? That guy? You didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah. Will Muschamp was at Florida. Derrick Henry was at college.
He wanted Derrick Henry to be a
Linebacker, and that's why he didn't come to Florida.
Was Derrick Henry from Pensacola?
He was from Yulee, Florida.
Yeah.
He wanted Derrick Henry to be a linebacker.
A linebacker, and that's why Derrick Henry did not come to Florida.
As a running back or anybody, I'd have been done then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
big boy running downhill.
That's why Muschamp ain't coaching down there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
Well, then again, too, a defensive-minded coach, you see a big
He's
guy.
thinking defense.
Yeah.
That would have been the biggest linebacker ever.
I wouldn't have run at him.
He played linebacker in high school. He was a dual
So
two-way
I
player.
think I am pretty sure on this. He actually, he's got some children now, and they're coming. Everybody's talking about his kids coming up, but you know who his brother-in-law is? Rikishi, the WWF wrestler. That is his brother-in-law. So can you imagine these kids that are going to be coming up?
Ooh, that's some
my
big
God.
old
Yeah.
youngins.
You got some offensive linemen after that.
You ain't
Yeah.
kidding. Well, tell us,
They might run 4.4s.
Yeah.
it'd be that big.
Derrick Henry is still doing it today.
They'll be,
He makes people look
they'll be
stupid
playing line at
today.
Langston Hughes.
Until 3 weeks ago, Derrick Henry was the leading rusher in the NFL
Yeah.
until Saquon took over it.
How did we do on our picks last week? Just out of curiosity.
So,
The wrap up here. Look,
Yeah,
look
so-
at Jamie. Look at him. He's
Jamie and Casey, they both went 4-1. Randy went 3-2. Me and Brian went 1-4. Whopping 1-4.
We'll tell y'all what y'all laid in there, boy.
Yeah, and I have broke it down a little bit too. Since
Hold
the
on,
last
here we
one,
go, here we go.
last show here. So our playoff record, Jamie actually first in the playoffs, 13-3.
there we go.
Randy and Casey
Got
tied 11-5.
Okay.
I'm third, 9-7, and Brian's 8-8. Bringing up
Feeling
the rear.
great.
I'm going bowling, baby. Going bowling.
All right.
The good news is it's wedding season
Yeah,
now.
that's
Just
right.
saying.
That's
And the overall,
Okay.
Randy got it by one game over Jamie.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
Randy's 49-18. Jamie was 48-19.
Don't even say Brian's.
Yeah. I was third, 43-24, and Brian was 40-27.
Not bad there, Brian.
Yeah.
It's
I'm over
key-
four.
You had a winning.
about a perfect
You,
time
you
for
had a
the keto diet.
winning percentage.
So, that nobody wins on the first year. Nobody
Hey,
wins.
we went over 500.
I didn't win either, so
Obadiah said, by the way, it's the WWE now.
I don't watch it. It don't matter.
Yeah, just saying.
man, you don't watch. You look like you.
You look like a Rikishi fan,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
You look like you would watch
Yeah,
WWE.
from my Samoan heritage.
When he started saying, I thought he was talking about the golf Lion King. I wasn't sure who
That's
he was talking about.
Rafiki. That's Rafiki.
Just to say.
That's
I thought he was trying to laugh.
All right, so
Rafiki.
let's take a couple of minutes here and offer some thanks. First off, before I forget to do this, Casey Massey, pull these pictures up. I want to send a very special thanks, and I've done this before, to Linda Pearson, our cookie lady, who has spoiled. You talking about being spoiled, dadgum,
Unbelievable.
rotten. What you're seeing here, this is just a little sample of some of the stuff that she has made. She did eggnog snickerdoodles the last couple of weeks.
And there was one, it was like, was it caramel apple snicker?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something?
yeah.
I don't even know how she does it.
I don't know. I don't either.
I never seen somebody put a whole apple in the cookie.
Randy's. We're going down the road to the game, and Randy says, "Hold on a minute." He takes the bag and he says, "When I open this, just smell and tell me what it is." And he pops it open. I said, "That gum eggnog," and it tasted incredible.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I've never seen nobody do that.
every week, she on Thanksgiving Day, she made cookies for this crew to head up to the ball game, and we've each gained about 20 pounds through the process, but that's 20 pounds I'll live with.
I
I'm
had
just saying.
4 last Friday.
It's caused
Man,
it's caused
alive.
the
Unofficially.
keto to pop up.
Yeah, yeah.
Keto now.
Now we
Keto
know
bandito.
where it came from. We know where it came from.
But I want to thank Casey Massey. Before I forget to do it, all of the stuff that you guys listen to on Friday nights and watch on Friday nights and this thing on Thursday nights, it goes straight through that guy. And I do not know what we would be doing. And that doesn't even get into the stuff he's doing for the football program. I mean, they have their own little network set up for all the stuff that they're using video-wise, and I can't tell you how many times he's had to run down onto the field and get some bubble gum and baling wire and some baking soda and put something together so that the darn thing worked.
And he finds internet. How do you just find internet?
You just find it. Just find it.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm
Anyway.
glad he's on our team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big time. But to Casey Massey, and again, I want to thank him and thank all you guys. It's been a fantastic season, a lot of fun.
It has.
And
This has by far been the funnest. And,
Oh, yeah.
and I've been doing it, I don't know how long, 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
This year has by far been the most intriguing and funnest year I've had.
Yep.
Mhm.
well,
So
and,
I thank a lot of y'all, and it's been awesome.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's
And-
easy. It is so easy to do it, really. I mean,
well, let's say this: it's fun again.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it is difficult, and we've talked about this. Whenever you're traveling all over the place and coming back with your teeth in your hands, that's tough. That's tough. But whenever you feel like, regardless of what the situation is, you got a chance at it being competitive, and not only competitive but winning at championship levels.
I'm sorry.
What just happened? With your
Like
teeth
that
in your
kill
hands?
me right
I
there.
got teeth in there.
Just saying. That's it. You have to go get some gummy bears.
Just don't get any taffy.
I was
I
like,
can
it's
tell
a
you
taffy.
this. I can tell you this. You can still eat them sugar cookies.
Right. As long as she doesn't put anything in there that's going to crack my gums. I'm just saying. Can't have that.
You might split them gums.
Don't want to do that either. Brian, you good?
Oh, y'all pray for Andy to crack gums.
Listen,
This is just a
His
little
teeth
bit of
in his
what we
hand.
do all the way on the
Jimmy
road
crack
trip.
corn, Randy crack gums. There's a correlation there. You can sing that song the rest of the night.
I mean,
Oh.
But we appreciate y'all.
jinx.
Hey, I do want to do a shout out to DJs to go in a truck and a generator last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because without them, we wouldn't have had radio.
Well, folks don't know this, or the folks who are listening on the radio don't know this.
But we couldn't park that truck there.
We had no power. There was no power on the visitor side. There was nowhere for us to get in the home press box because it was too small for us to get in there. So we set up in the stands and had to take our own power. And Casey drove a truck up with a generator in the back of it. We parked it right up under the stands and then ran power from it and ran that generator. That's the type of stuff that we have to get done sometimes for you guys to be able to listen to the ball
And I
games.
guarantee you that bunch ain't never seen nothing like that.
No,
Yeah.
Nope.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Because they were asking us, oh, no,
You can't park
you
a
got to
truck there.
move that truck in case
I'm
it
like,
says,
no, you ain't.
I got the keys and it ain't moving.
Well, after Coach Boone had come up and said y'all are good, then we
Yeah.
knew we had
We
a
was good.
we were good to go.
we had a foot to stand on at that point.
That guy was telling Casey, you got to move that truck. He told him like 20 times. Casey sat there and just looked at him. He
"No."
didn't say that. He was like,
No, we don't. But
The fact that we've had to do that twice now.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
yep,
And we done that at Child, so that was a good trial run to figure
There
out.
was. At least we knew what we needed then.
Yeah, that's right.
But let's say thanks to all the fans. Let's say
Absolutely.
thanks to all y'all, and you know that all y'all is the plural of y'all. That's more than just y'all. So all y'all, and all of your comments and your compliments and your pats on the back and all the stuff that you do to support us and what we're doing, it just means the world. And it makes me very, very proud to know that we're able to bring you guys something that I feel like is as good or better than anything else anybody's going to be able to deliver. We've listened to a lot of ball games through the years, and all it takes is going on Friday nights and start spinning that dial. And you don't have to go real far, and you find out that we've got the program and the coverage of it from this bunch pretty
really
sporty.
good.
Yep, pretty sporty.
It makes it worth the while, and it's always awesome when you walk in that stadium and you're 5 hours from home, and there's more of our people there.
Yep.
Y'all just
And half of them in the stands with their radios on, listening to
absolutely.
us.
So I don't even know.
When we're 4 foot away in the same stands.
yeah,
Just,
yeah, they can pretty much hear us.
Could have just got a megaphone.
It-
Just-
it really ain't words to really explain how that feels.
Well,
and it
Just
means a
walk in
lot
like
too,
you're at home.
because everybody's, you got to use your vacation time and all that, take
That's
off
right,
work,
that's
and then
right.
you lose out money, spend more money to get there. So it means a lot for these kids to see everybody out there, and
no question. And I get so tickled at all those folks in the stands because there's a lot of times Jamie will be celebrating with somebody after a big play or he's talking to a coach or something, and I'll say, Jamie, what have you got or what do you see? And and I don't get a response, and I say, well, we can't find Jamie. And everybody in the stands
Right
goes,
there.
he's right there. Randy Hay, he's right. I mean, a dozen people right in front of us. Well, he's right down there. It's not that we can't see
And I
him.
tried to do better this year.
No, you
making
did
sure.
fine.
Yeah,
You did fine.
yeah.
But it's always something whenever I say we can't find Jamie, and everybody in the stands are like, well, there he is right there, because they're listening to us on the radio.
I mean, it's kind of hard when there's confetti flying in our face.
Yeah.
Well,
you
that's
know.
true,
Hey,
too.
I
That's
love
true,
I'm
too.
still
I love
getting
it.
it out of all the bags.
I done got caught in the heater the other night.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
look,
seen
I
Charlie
was-
back there
Charlie
waiting.
was kicking his foot away from it.
I was driving a truck yesterday, and just unloaded it, and there was still confetti flying out of the truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so you were the one that left that trail.
Yeah, no, somebody's got to.
But thank you guys for all you do and that you've done. It's a lot of fun.
and it's always fun working with you. It's always we're working with a legend, you know.
Shh,
It's
get out
I
of here.
mean, daggum, man.
Yeah, get out of here.
Just think, we get to cut our teeth with the best.
That's why we're going to wind up with cracked gums.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we
Don't
come
cut
back
your
with no
teeth.
teeth.
Just
Don't put them in your hand.
just cut your teeth, but not cut your gums.
Let's make sure everybody knows now. After Christmas, we're going to take a little break.
Yeah, we don't know when we're going to be back. I mean, we will definitely be back probably January.
It's going to be springish, so we can talk about the spring sports, get spring training,
catch
and
up on
stuff. Yeah,
basketball.
Yeah.
Yep. So we will let everybody know, but we're going to take a little bit of a break ourselves and enjoy the holidays and enjoy our families and all. But we will let everybody know, and all the folks that have participated and commented and everything through the year, we just appreciate it more than you know.
Thanks for everybody watching this.
Yeah, big time, big time.
Awesome.
I mean, we've had the last couple of weeks between 6,000 and 7,000 folks that have been watching this thing every week. So we congratulate y'all for being a part of it, and looking forward to 2025, because when we come back and do this again, that's where we'll be. Hard to believe. And thanks to Dairy Queen.
Thanks to Dairy Queen.
Yep. One more again.
Man,
it's been fun.
This is a highlight on a Thursday night, and I've had Dan Stewart, go get you some now. Come on. I know you sitting there debating. It's an Oreo tonight, so go get it. Blow it up.
That's it. Guys, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. We will see you in 2025. And until then, go Jackets. All right, boys.